Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Oakley and I am here today to tell you all about my firsts. First person you came out to. Ooh. I think the first person I came out to, I'm not gonna name her because she was terrible and she outed me to other people, but you know what you did, you know who you are. Will you bleep her name? God bless. First YouTube video of yours that you'd want to scrub from the internet. Well, my very first video is privated because I did not know about privacy. And in my first video, I talked all about like, here's my address, here's where you can find me, here's my phone number, all these things. And I'm like, the internet doesn't need to know about that. So probably my very first video. First time you were recognized in public. I started making YouTube videos when I was still in the dorms, when I was going to Michigan State, and I remember there was like a squad of like college students, girls, going through my hallway, and they like came by my room when my door was open, and I'm like just hanging out in my dorm room, and I can hear them coming and like giggling and something, and then they all peeked in, and then from that point on, I knew I had to keep my door closed. First date. Which, well, like with a guy or with a girl? With a girl, I think we went like ice skating. She came out as a lesbian by now. I came out as a gay by now. Jules, God bless ya. Look at us now. Queer, out proud. A first date with a guy, it was like a secret because people couldn't know. We went to go see Stepford Wives, I think, in theaters. And when he dropped me back off at home, I didn't want my parents to know. So he dropped me off down the street, and then I like scurried home, and I got home and we only had our one computer with our dial-up. And so I was like waiting to get online to talk to all my friends and tell them, oh my God, I just got home from the date and we kissed, blah, 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 blah. But I had to wait because we had dial-up and my brother was on the phone. And so there I was just like, I need to tell the gays about what I'm up to. Times have not changed. First gay pride. I came to LA in 2010 for a summer internship with the Trevor Project. And while I was here for the summer, I really just was feeling my gay oats. It was like the first time I saw gays out in public doing their thing. And so the first gay pride I went to was LA Pride, and I feel like I like dove right into the deep end and I had fun. First job. My first job was at Arby's, and I hated it. But I will say, whew, girl, to this day, there's nothing as good as a curly fry. My first job that I loved was McDonald's, and all my friends worked there. We all had the same shift every day. It was great. I had so much free food. That's my barometer for a good job. I worked at a coffee shop. All I did at the coffee shop was chug Frappuccinos all day long. At Arby's, all I did was chug Jamocha shakes all day long. Anywhere where I got free food, that was a good job. So YouTube is not all it's cracked up to be. No free food. First impression of your amazing race partner, Corey. Cool. So Corey and I met back in the dorms. He was an RA and I was a freshman. And I saw his picture on like the board of like all the RAs in the building, and I could tell, because you know how gays know. I was like, that's a gay. As a gay does, I did my stalking, and I found him on Facebook, and then I saw in his interests he liked Big Brother and Julie Chen, and so I reached out and I said, hi, I too like Big Brother and Julie Chen. We should like hang out sometime. The rest is history. Thank you, Julie Chen. First incorrect rumor you've read about yourself. Everything I've ever read is true. Everything. There was a moment, I do remember, there was a moment where there was a conspiracy that YouTubers that were gay were doing it as like a lie, and I got dragged into that, and I wanted to be like, honey, not only have I never had like a big reveal of like I'm gay and like doing it for views or anything like that. Like I've always like talked about being gay, so like that was flabbergasting to me. I'm like, I don't have the energy. First kiss. It was in a van. It was after my first date with a boy, but like that's like first real kiss. Like I think Spin the Bottle doesn't count, though I was always very like, yeah, we should play Spin the Bottle, of course. It was a good kiss. We're still friends. First YouTube video that I ever made, it was called An Introduction to My Video Blog. SEO ready. It was me just showing people around my dorm room in college, and I showed people like, here's my bunk bed, here's my condoms that my RA gave me, here's my whatever. I'm like, as if anybody cared. Here's my Hebrew book for Hebrew class. Like, nobody cared.
You go back and watch it?
No. I don't go back and watch this week's video. Like, as soon as I'm done filming it, like, I don't wanna see it, I don't wanna think about it. It is bizarre though, because I've made a video every week for almost 11 years now, almost 12 years now. And to be able to go back and see what I cared about any week in the past more than a decade is, nobody needs that type of access to your brain. First, car. Now this is a good story. I saved up all of my Arby's money and I knew that I needed a vehicle. So I went in the newspaper. People don't even do this anymore. Oh my God, I'm like aging myself. I went in the newspaper, I circled the ones that I was interested in. I was going to go check out this car with my dad, and the night before I got into high school shenanigans, so I was not feeling my best the next morning, the morning I was supposed to check out the car. And I'm like in the car with my dad on my way to go check out the car that I circled. And I'm like, ooh, she's feeling queasy, she's feeling like, I'm like, nah, it's all gonna come up. Last night's gonna regurgitate. And so we get to the house and I go around the back to the side of the house and I'm like, Dad, I have to go puke. I am so hungover. And I go and puke, and I look up after I just like vomited all of last night, and I see the woman who is selling the car through her window. We make eye contact, and I was like, yep, this is what my life is. And then she came out of the house, and I said, hello. And we had a moment, and I ended up buying her car. Her car was a something Oldsmobile. It was completely blue with one red door. It was all I could afford with my Arby's money. First YouTuber friend, Corey, my amazing race partner. We met the day I made my YouTube account, and we both made YouTube accounts, and we would like make our own little collabs and do our own little challenges. And this is before VidCon existed, before anything. And he's still my first YouTube friend. First celebrity crush. Chris O'Donnell in Batman and Robin, as Robin. The close-up zoom of his first reveal of his outfit, where they like showed his pecs and like somehow his metal armor had nipples protruding, and little old me in the basement of my home would rewind it, but watch it on the lowest volume possible. And I would rewind it and watch, and rewind it and watch, and rewind it and watch. And I was like, oh, to this day, he's a man. If y'all had him behind a door, I would have to leave because of the restraining order.